Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. The other day, I was at a Halloween party, and of course, the topic among the people that I was hanging out with switched to, the current thing that's happening. Everybody's standing in line for in different states. And one of the people there learned about who I was going to be voting for, and their immediate response was to turn to me, give me a surprised look and say, "But you have daughters." Now, they never exactly explained what the hell they meant by that. I can take a really good guess as to what topic that is referring to, but I replied, yes, I have daughters, and yes, that's how I'm voting. And the topic never switched over where I thought it was going to. Oh, no. Instead, the whole conversation ended up revolving around eliminating the Department of Education. Also, I think, actually, now that I think about it, there was a short period of time where they're like, well, Project 2025 and how they're going to... No, you don't understand how government works. Doesn't matter who writes up these projects. The president himself cannot write a bill and bring it before Congress. That's not how that works. Somebody in Congress has to write up the bill, bring it before Congress. The House has to vote on it. Then it goes to the Senate, and if it passes both, then it goes to the president. There's a huge gap between what the president wants to do and what Congress is working towards doing. Nobody seems to fucking understand this. So then we get to the Department of Education, which I was like, yeah, get rid of it. And they're like, what? You don't want schools to be funded? Well, first of all, schools are funded by your county tax dollars. And I never heard a really good argument as to why the federal government has any say as to how these schools are run. I still haven't. Why are they there other than sucking away our federal tax dollars, adding to that budget? Doesn't sound like a good idea to me. What do they do? What exactly would you say you do here? So, of course, they didn't really understand how that all worked, because every time I mentioned, yeah, they should just get rid of it. It should be gone. The Department of Education should not exist. You just want to destroy the whole thing? No. It hasn't existed before the might as well say 1980. I think it was 78, 79 was when it was created. How did schools operate before then? And isn't it interesting that they create this piece of shit department? And beforehand we had scientists, innovators, all the great works, all the artwork, all the people that we look up to as being the innovators of our society. They were all pretty much before the Department of Education. So that brings me to, the whole, but you have daughters. That one really just surprised me. Because it only tells me that the people who are voting for a certain person have no fucking idea who they're voting for. They have no idea. First of all, I don't want my daughters growing up idolizing or looking up to somebody who got into the position by sucking dick. I have no interest in that. Now, going back to her boss, Biden. This is a guy And last time I checked, this is still happening. 40 to $87 million a week of our tax dollars going to the Taliban. Who are the Taliban? Oh, they're the ones who harbored Al Qaeda in their country so that they could do 9/11. That thing that everybody seems to never forget. Oh, we forgot. We definitely forgot. Never forget. Yeah, so we're funding these fucks because we acknowledge that they are a legitimate government. Fucking bullshit. And what has the Taliban done? So, if you're so concerned about women, what have they done? And we're funding them. I can't emphasize this enough. We are giving them money after we gave them billions of dollars in arms and weapons. So, they've made it illegal for women to speak in public. Women can no longer drive. Women cannot go to school. If women are out in public, not escorted by a male member of their family, they can be stoned to death. They are the property of their husband and their husband's family. They don't belong to their family anymore. Their mom and dad. No. They are the property of their husband and the husband's family. And we allow these people to come here. A couple weeks ago, I think it was that long ago, an Afghan who pledged his allegiance to ISIS was arrested for plotting to shoot up election polling places on November 5th, along with a younger counterpart who was a minor. But that was their plan. That's what this guy was hoping to do. After escaping from the Taliban on one of those planes that Biden flew out where nobody... They didn't account for anyone, like no background checks. They didn't verify who anybody was. It was just a fucking free-for-all. And that was how this guy came to this country. And then he pledges his allegiance to ISIS. Oh, by the way, yeah, I know some people are going to say, like, well, there's a difference between ISIS and the Taliban. No, they're working together now. They've set aside all their religious differences because they hate us so much that the Taliban is working with ISIS, who's working with Al Qaeda. I mean, you name a group, they're all over there. It's like a fucking spa of terrorists over in Afghanistan. It is insane. And they have all of our shit. Yeah. So, when somebody finds out how I'm voting and they look at me and say, but you have daughters. I'm like, yeah, well, you don't give a fuck about yours. Because I know what I'm not voting for. I'm not voting for an administration that funds a bunch of fuckers that will stone a woman to death because she left her house to go get groceries. Yeah. It's the same shit that was happening just before 9/11. There's a great movie, if you want to educate yourself, called Osama. And it's about a little girl. Mom can't leave the house. Dad's dead. The Taliban fucking killed Dad. They have no other family. So the little girl has to dress up like a little boy to go out and get food for the family. And that's just a whole shit show in itself. That is what is happening over there. So if you want to look at this election, just be like, but abortion. Well, first world problems. That is a first world problem. How about you stop fucking around and finding out to where that is your solution to your problems because you're incapable of making responsible decisions for yourself and your future. Well, you're just so hot. Oh my God. If that is your only concern, if that's it, if that's your concern when it comes to this shit, and if you're willing to support like other women being treated the way that they're being treated in Afghanistan, like there's a nice place in hell waiting for you. That's all I gotta say. Because you have no idea what the fuck is going on in the rest of the country and what you're paying for. Well, I don't want to use a rusty coat hanger. Yeah, well, we shouldn't be funding people who fucking slaughter women for stupid reasons. I don't want to hear about abortion. Fuck your abortion argument. Shove it up your ass. Later. Never trust a side hoe.